Hi folks, today I want to talk about something very important, about the Sony A7V. And I know you were waiting for a long time to get some reliable info about the next full-frame alpha cameras, whether it's the A7S4, the A12, the A7V or other cameras. And I finally have solid info to share, and also a very important update about the general roadmap, not only of Sony but all camera manufacturers, because there's something happening that is very important. But first of all, before we move on to talk about the A7V and the other cameras, a quick reminder to first of all like this video to help in the YouTube algorithm, and then subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button if you don't want to miss any of the upcoming rumors. Before I talk about the Sony A7V, I have to give you a very important update about the entire camera industry. As you know, at the beginning of the year, I told you exactly what kind of products Sony would launch this year. I made a whole roadmap of products and also a timing. Most of those products have been announced, like the 2G lenses, the Sony A7V E10 II, the 85 1.4 GM2, so the products that I teased you would be coming this year. Yeah, they turned out to be right, so my sources were spot on. But what changed, and what's very important, is that Sony had to delay the roadmap by at least 2 months, probably even more. So everything that I expected to come has been postponed. I told you already in spring that this would happen. So for example, by now we should already have gotten a Sony FX9 kind of successor. I was hoping that Sony would announce it this week, and it didn't happen. All my sources are pretty surprised because they know they already saw the camera, they know it's on the roadmap, but Sony didn't announce it. And now, you could think I'm simply wrong, but I give you now 3 good reasons and also some facts why I know it's true. First of all, like I told you, those sources were spot on all the announcements so far. So the products have been announced, they were exactly the ones that I teased you. So would be kind of strange that they're right on the products but then wrong on the timing, and they simply don't know. Now I really think they're right when they're telling me Sony keeps postponing the announcements. The second reason, for example, is also that Sony did register a new camera on the 4th of June, and usually, as you know, in the past year, Sony always announced the cameras 2-3 months after those registrations. So the fact that more than 3 months now passed and we didn't get that camera also proves that Sony has a camera ready for launch, but they are not launching it. And the third most compelling reason why I know we are having a bottleneck in the production of cameras and also lenses is coming from Canon. Canon Japan officially stated beginning of September that the Canon R5 II shipment will be delayed for 2 reasons. One, they say the pre-order numbers are higher than usual, but that's something we always hear about after every launch, so that's no news. The second part is way more important. They say they're having a production bottleneck, that they are not getting the parts they need to produce enough cameras. And that's what I heard already in spring, that the whole production lineup for cameras and lenses is in a sort of a bottleneck and shortage, continuous shortage, and it keeps going on. I don't know the exact reason, but I know, for example, that the maritime transport costs, they have skyrocketed because of a multitude of reasons. For example, also the conflict in the Strait of Yemen and so forth. And I know that, for example, some of you pointed out that cameras are being shipped through the airplane. That's true, but the production of cameras need parts from all over the world, and they're not shipped by airplane, but they're maritime commissions, and I think that's the main reason why we're having the production bottleneck, and it's not going to ease, at least for the next months. And this is very important for you to know, because this has to do with the Sony A7V II. A very trusted source that was always spot on in the past years told me that the Sony A7V was actually scheduled to be announced in October. Now he is telling me that somehow that announcement, the scheduled announcement, has disappeared from the roadmap. And I now got him and another source which I trust, so 2 trusted sources telling me that the Sony A7V will ship out and be on market the first quarter of 2025. That means between January and March. So the first reliable info I can tell you now is that the Sony A7V will ship in that time frame. I don't know exactly if it's going to be January, February or March, but that's what I've been told. Now, this leaves out the question mark about the announcement date. We don't know if the camera will be announced, for example, now in November and then ship out in February, March. Like, for example, it did happen with the Sony A7 III that was announced in November, then it shipped out only 3 months after. Or if Sony will decide to announce it in January and then ship it in February, March. So this is the news I can share today. So the Sony A7V is definitely coming in that time frame, and that already includes the delay of the roadmap, so I hope there will be no further delay, but the Sony A7V is definitely coming. I also heard unconfirmed rumors about the A1 II, but here still I have to work that is coming on market for sure in 2025, but also the announcement could come close to the A7V announcement. So about that I'm still working, so I'm not 100% certain. I'm 99% certain about the A7V being on market the first quarter. And the A7S III successor, I got no info at all. So that's the situation right now. Like I told you, the FX9 successor, the FX camera, should be actually the next camera, so I'm waiting for sources to tell me when Sony will have that new announcement that's ready. And this autumn we will also get the 24-70 2.0, and I also heard about another lens. I don't have the specs, or not at least confirmed specs yet, but there should be also another lens. That's the roadmap as of now, so excuse me if I know you're waiting patiently to get solid announcement dates for those cameras and lenses, but as you know, I've been reliable in the past years, and in this year simply it doesn't depend from Sony or from me. It's just the situation of the production bottleneck that has to be solved in time and that keeps delaying stuff. Now back to the Sony A7V. What can we tell about this camera? This is obviously a very important camera for Sony because it's the full frame camera for the masses, like the A7C series, so they really have to nail it on that camera. What I'm going to share today, what I've been told, is that this camera will definitely focus on two aspects, on speed and AI features. Speed means that frame rate will be improved over the A7 IV, which is kind of now lagging behind the Nikon Z6 III. Although the Nikon Z6 III has a lower resolution, so obviously it has that kind of advantage, but Sony wants to push the speed of the frame rate, the speed of the autofocus, the overall speed of the camera. What I don't know is if it will feature a new sensor or keep the same sensor and have a faster readout and so forth. That's something I don't know. The sources hopefully will tell me soon some early specs about the camera. If you happen to have some reliable info, you can share your info using the email address here and also the contact box on sonyalpha.com, and there, so I can slowly work out what's more likely to be implemented on the Sony A7V. But definitely speed will be improved on all aspects. Some new AI features, that's also to be expected. It's no surprise. I personally, that's just my guess. My guess as of now is that it will use the same sensor or keep the same, have a new slightly improved sensor with similar resolution, but I don't see them going, for example, for 40 megapixel. There's no reason for that. So don't expect, I'm pretty certain that you don't have to expect a high resolution version of the A7 IV. It will be about the same, and that's it. And about the body itself, some reader asked me if the A9 III body design, which I super love because the handling is super, the button fillings and the grip, if that will find a way into the A7V, that I don't know. I don't think so, but I think it's more likely to be coming on the future A7R6 and so forth, that for sure, or the A1 II, of course. Don't know if it's going to be implemented on the A7V. So that's what I wanted to share today, is that finally the first full frame alpha camera that I know will be coming is the A7V in the first quarter of 2025. But the announcement date is still unclear, but it will be on market by that time, unless something very bad happens in the world again with conflicts and issues and more production bottlenecks, but I don't, hopefully that's not going to happen. Some more news, also Nikon. I heard that also Nikon delayed the launch of some cameras, like for example the Z7 series camera, the new camera. The launch has been delayed, so that also confirms that there is a bottleneck. Also the Panasonic S1R successor also has been delayed, that I know from trusted sources actually. So we know now from Canon official statement, from the rumored Nikon and Panasonic cameras, that there are delays on the roadmap. And what's coming aside of the A7V? I told you A1 II is confirmed to be coming 2025. I started to gather some early possible info. I will probably make a video about that, unconfirmed info, just for the sake of discussion, but that's definitely coming. I heard also about another different kind of model. There are hopes that we will also get, for example, a full-frame fixed lens RX successor, RX1 successor. That will be nice. But aside of that, I didn't hear anything solid regarding cameras. And this probably has to do with the fact that Sony had to delay all those products, so my sources tend only to share info when we are more closer to the product announcement. So like for example the A7V. So I think as of now it looks like the A7V might be the next full frame alpha camera coming, and that maybe we don't get anything before that. So at best, my feeling is that at best the A7V will be announced in November with shipment in February, March 2025. So that's the situation right now. If something changes, then I will make obviously a new video, very important. In my next video I'll talk a bit about the possible DJI full frame mirrorless camera. There are conflicting rumors about that. Some Chinese sources saying that's not coming, some saying it's coming and it will have those kind of specs, and that will be very interesting because this camera will, for example, compete with the A7V if it's real. So we still have to see, but it will be an interesting rumor to share and to discuss. So definitely stay tuned for this next video. So folks, that's about it. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment system. I might be able to do some sort of live stream, hopefully on Friday or next week, so we can have a more direct discussion about the A7V, about the next 2470 2.0, which is going to be an exciting lens, about the possibility to get a DJI mirrorless camera, full frame. There are many things cooking, but yeah, I'm a bit disappointed to see that we still have to wait to get the next big Sony Alpha full frame cameras. But I know that's how it is. I know that every manufacturer is struggling right now. So hopefully in the next months, Canon, Sony, Nikon, Panasonic, all of those can sort out those issues. But the A7V is coming, the A1 II is definitely coming, that's 100% confirmed in 2025. We are having those kind of nice cameras and hopefully also some surprises. Folks, that's it for today, see you soon.